This is Stephen J. Vaughn Nichols, who writes for CBS ZDNet and many other places. He has been following Linux and free and open source software since approximately when dinosaurs walked the earth, if not before.
Yes.
Anyway, this year, what has been the hot news in FOSS circles this year, and what might be in the rest of 2016? Take it away, SJVN.
All righty. Well, I think the big news, so I know this is annoying the hell out of a lot of people, is, you know, that damn Microsoft company. Well, it really isn't Steve Ballmer's or Bill Gates' Microsoft anymore. Under the new regime, they're pretty darn serious about not just adopting open source methods, they're embracing Linux with both arms, and they're not embracing it to strangle it. I know some people will immediately say, well, what about Android? And I'll say they make a few $billion from Android and the patents they claim against it. And you know what? Companies don't give up free money. And for Microsoft, Android and its patents are free money. Now, you can say, and I would agree with you, that those patents are bogus, but hey, billions of dollars aren't bogus, though. So until those patents expire, and they are going to start expiring soon, Microsoft is going to hang on to them. But that doesn't mean that just because they have a fiscal obligation to keep bringing that money in, that they are not seriously engaging with open source. Now, no, they're not going to be bringing out Windows 10 or Windows 11 as open source. Not going to happen. Probably should, considering how crappy the code is, but that won't happen. But certainly as for anything that's showing up on their cloud, it's becoming increasingly more Linux dominated. It's up to about I think 1/3 of all virtual machine loads now on Microsoft Azure are Linux based. And that's really kind of fascinating. A few months ago, I did a piece about we won, get over it. We have won, but we're not getting over it. I think there's a lot of folks who still feel like we should be resentful about everybody else, the Microsofts, the Apples, and so on. But,
Wait a minute. Can't we at least resent Oracle?
Oh, we can always resent Oracle.
Okay, just want to make sure.
Oh, yeah. They're a really... Larry Ellison and company are a curious case. They actually embraced open source early on. They were actually one of the first companies to get serious about Linux, not just on the server, but on the desktop, something that people outside Oracle don't know to this day. On the other hand, though, they are also litigious as all get out. They don't like sharing. You know, in Oracle Enterprise Linux itself, which I suppose someone out there uses, but I don't know of anyone, except companies that are tied up with Oracle licensing contracts where they have to basically use everything that's Oracle. I mean, it's basically just a Red Hat Enterprise Linux clone, and you know, everybody knows that. It's just, you know, they just taped their own name on it and said, aha, we're new, we're improved, we have our own Linux now. No, they don't, not really.
So is it anything, they haven't done anything this year though, have they?
This year, no. They've done some things with, Java actually is kind of interesting. They're getting, looks like more and more they're putting Java on the back burner, and it's hardly my favorite programming language, but there's a lot of people still doing stuff with Java, particularly with Java Enterprise Edition, and they're not being really supported. The Java community process, you know, used to be, you know, Sun was always the big dog in that kennel, but now they don't seem to be doing a darn thing with it. They're really kind of ignoring it, and they certainly have not been supportive of Java's open source nature. Anyone who was involved with Apache Harmony, their open source take on the Java Enterprise Edition knows all about that.
But wait, there is Apache Harmony out there, right?
There is, but it's no longer though. Now, this I'm not sure of because I haven't kept a close eye on it, but I believe it's no longer officially Java, and I'm not sure there's a whole lot of work going on with it anymore. As far as I know, there's basically none.
Okay, so this is a big 2016 deal is Java is not dead, but it's limping.
Right. I would say it's very definitely limping.
Any good news other than Microsoft, which is maybe good, maybe not?
Maybe good news, yeah. Well, we like to talk about the Linux desktop even now. It's become something of a joke, but really, if you think of Linux as an end user experience, not just the conventional desktop, again, hi, we won. You got an Android phone by your side? I know, actually, no, mine's on the other side of the room right now. But, Android's the most popular smartphone and tablet operating system around. If you're not married to Apple, it's what you use. Microsoft has died like a dog in that arena. And Chromebooks, and I'm speaking to you right now from my second generation Chromebook Pixel. It's underneath it all. It's Gen 2. It's Gen 2 Linux, and you can't see it unless you open up the hood and of the Chrome interface. But it's there. You can use it, and that's it's all very hidden from people because when you ask someone if they're running Linux, if they have an Android phone on their hip and they have a Chromebook in their hands, they'll say no, they're not, because they don't know. And maybe that's actually sort of a good thing. I mean, yeah, for those of us who like to wave penguin, a flag with tux on it, yay, tux. That's kind of disappointing that people don't realize what they're really running, but, end of the day, they're still running Linux. They just don't know it.
Well, my wife seems to be perfectly happy running Netflix on her Chromebook.
Yep, exactly. So
works fine.
Yep, it certainly does. I watch it myself when I'm out of town on my Chromebook, and also Linux is also appearing in other places again where it's invisible, but it's important. Toyota just the other day announced that they were joining the Open Invention Network.
Saw that.
Yep, exactly, which means they have put tens of millions of dollars into backing Linux and open source patent protection. That's pretty serious stuff. And they're not the only ones who have done that. Ford just did it, and so did Hyundai and another Japanese company whose name I forget, and China's biggest truck manufacturer as well. And spoiler alert, I can't mention any names now, but I know for a fact several other big major car companies are about to announce that they too are investing in Linux. And again, cars, Linux, what's that all about? It's, it's your GPS, it's your entertainment system, it's all that stuff that appears on your screen. So
another thing. Now back to the desktop and not Chrome but Linux.
Sure.
You're a big Mint fan, aren't you?
Indeed, I am.
Continuingly, so you love the newest one.
Mint 18, I do. I really like the cinnamon interface a lot, though there's also a lot to be said for the. I never am quite sure, Mate or Mate, or Matey even. I've heard all three.
Me too. Yeah.
But it's good stuff. It works well, and occasionally quirks show up, but Clem and the rest of the crew behind it are pretty good about fixing stuff. I called in with a bug report myself about, I guess, 6-7 weeks ago, and talked directly with people and made stuff happen, and that's neat. It still is a community out there. I mean, there's a lot of corporate stuff, but no, there really is still a Linux community, and I, for one, am very glad about that.
The reason I ask personally about Mint is I have a laptop off screen here that I'm taking apart, and it's a job because, oh my God, this Acer is the hardest laptop I've ever heard of to replace RAM. It is insanely stupid, all those little screws. Couldn't be a door. Anyway, when I get that done, I'm putting in an SSD, and I'm wondering, I've had Ubuntu on it. I'm thinking I'm going to go with Mint and see whether I love you or hate you afterwards.
I think you'll love me. I really do. I mean, I like the newest Ubuntu too. Actually, I've got a Dell XPS 13, the developer edition, and I'm running Ubuntu 16.04 on it right now, and it's been a pleasure. I will foreshadow a story I'm going to be finishing off later today, and saying that the connection between the newer Linuxes and the Dell hardware, particularly the Broadcom Wi-Fi, that's not so good. But once you've got that mastered, it works really well. I'm really happy with it. It's not as happy as I'd like to be.
The one thing I'd like to check here is we talk about Mint and all that. I don't know whether this is showing up in the published video, but I can see a fair number of recognizable science fiction titles in the bookshelves behind you. Are we talking fiction or fact here? I just want to make sure.
We're talking fact here. There's a lot of disorganized science fiction books behind me. I have to still get those into order. But yep, this is all fact. The real stuff.